sent myself a love letter. I dipped my quill in blood. I sealed it with my kisses. Just in case a sentence runs. I wrote myself a poem. Proclaiming that I was the one. I said the sweetest nothing. Felt so deeply in the love.
You couldn't wait to get home from work. Relax and unwind, waste all of your time. Zone out and rot in the bed with your snacks, blunt and wine. You tried quitting, but you couldn't handle the stress of everyday life. It made you depressed. To cope, you relaxed, you relapsed, you regressed. But it didn't matter. Your friends were impressed by the tolerance you built to the drugs you ingested. They admired the narc traits that you manifested. The poison was legal, so all of y'all did it. Hey. Might as well you didn't know anyone who didn't. You couldn't afford a fancy vacation, so you blew your own mind and vacated, placated. The abuse that you went through ran through you like liquor. You scratched at your skin. At least you stopped using scissors. At least you warned people beforehand that you were no good, you were in no man's land of the dead, zombies, you're a nomad. You picked up the blunt, took matters in your own hands. Sipping on syrups clogged all of the circuits inside of your system whenever you're nervous. You block out the feeling, cause feeling is healing. In shock you were reeling, too proud to be on the floor kneeling. So you stuck up your nose and inhaled a substance to help you pretend that what happened wasn't that big of a deal. You had the jitters, you couldn't stay still. You inhaled and exhaled and popped a new pill. You felt it kick in, the energy zeal. Relaxed you and stimulated at the same time. You flipped through the channels, started watching true crime. Your body started numbing, your head started humming. So gone, you couldn't feel that your nose started running. The screen on the TV turned wavy, so lazy. At least you had happy pills to help stop your crazy. You pouted on thick to cover the roots. Your family abandoned you because of the truth. Scene of the crime because of the clues. Bruised purple and green, you're becoming the blues. Who done it? The culprit. Left behind at the pulpit. Playing Russian roulette, now you're biting the bullet. Your stomach turned, you threw up. You cannot keep a promise. You fainted, fell asleep in a pool of your vomit. The next day, you got news of a death in the family. You felt no kind of way. You weren't particularly happy or sad or depressed. You looked down at your jeans and saw them distressed. And that made you laugh. Why should you feel bad? The feeling was fleeting. You found it soon passed. So you went on your way, went on about your day. After work, your co-workers asked you to hang.
Wanna come over?
You followed them to their house. Went inside for dinner, met their children and spouse.
How are you?
Flat defect, the effect did not warm your heart. Your coworker took you to the basement. They had their own bar. Ooh. It was stocked to the brim and that was what moved you. Like Steve when he finally said goodbye to Blue's Clues. You and your coworker drunk while their spouse cooked the food. Smoked a couple blunts to get you in the mood. Staggering, reeling, the familiar feeling made you hyper. You started bouncing off the ceiling. You were high out your mind. Somehow wandered upstairs. stomach growling, you went into the kitchen where the food was still cooking. The oven was baking a fresh batch of cookies. Chocolate was wafting. You didn't care who was watching. You followed the scent up to the witch's house. You opened the door, hopped in the witch's mouth. She's stuffing her face, they could not get you out. Stop! What are you doing? No, put that down! Blood-curdling screams snatch you out of your trance. Something was melting and burning. You looked down at your hands.
Oh my God.
They were covered in blood and burned down to the bone. Embarrassed, your coworker kicked you out of their home. You got way too high. You got lost in the zone. Third-degree burns they shouldn't have left you alone. They've heard the rumors they all should have known. You tried to act normal. Now your cover was blown. Hello? Yes, please send help.
Please send
We
somebody.
need an ambulance at 55555 Redemption Boulevard.
Send an ambulance
Please
now,
hurry.
please.
The doctors and nurses tried to be nice. You don't have to tell a child not to touch a hot stove twice. You were in timeout now. They had to put you on ice. Reflection and healing is what they prescribed. Break bad habits 3 times a day. Let go of your vice. Read the Bible in the morning, then before bed at night. Exercise patience and try to be kind. Don't mix with bad company. It might cost your life. They wrapped up both of your hands in thick layers of gauze. Discharged you and sent you on your way. You hadn't had your fix in days.
Damn.
You didn't feel like your old self. It just wasn't the same. You couldn't have all your snacks. You were on a strict liquid diet. Fresh juices, you'd always been meaning to try it. After a few days, you'd lost all the weight. You'd piled on back in the day. During depressive times, you felt something coming alive. Deep down in your body, you suddenly cried out for your mama, your daddy. You felt the whole range of emotions from angry to happy. Anguished, recovery is never painless. You were on the right track after being so aimless. You couldn't roll blunts, your fingers were damaged, you couldn't pour up. You assessed the damage, you need to grow up. Stop being so absent-minded, you need to show up. You couldn't use your hands, but still had your legs. So you kneeled down right beside your bed. All the feelings you blocked out over the years came flooding back in. You needed to build an ark for all of the tears. Critical, these conditions were vital. You had no choice but to sit with it and be mindful. I surrogate an eyeful. You were saved by God's grace. School of hard knocks, and it's time for your finals. After praying, you knew that you couldn't go back. Conflicted, but renewed, your spirit convicted. Eyes no longer glossy, you could see the specifics, the style that was in it. So you focused on the future, did a 180 pivot. You cleaned up your room, went down to the kitchen, poured out all the alcohol, trashed all the drugs, dug deep and cleaned out where the hidden stash was. Cold turkey. It was time to put on your robes and hang up your jersey. You used to be gang. Now you're part of the clergy. If thy right hand offend thee, cut it off and cast it if it's problematic. Interoception. Don't distort your perception. See the truth of the matter. Embrace your ascension. Don't numb out the pain, 'cause the pain is a gift. You can't be sentient if you're not sensitive.